Justice Yashwant Varma and the cash allegedly found at his outhouse in the national capital, the story that sent shockwaves. I want to just play out some visuals, in fact, of what had happened. Remember, can we just play out the visuals of Justice Yashwant Varma before we go across and... okay, I don't know, we'll... all right, wrong visuals are playing. I apologize for that. We'll go back and play out those visuals. These are the visuals that I'm talking about. Justice Varma and the wads of cash which were found allegedly at the outhouse, whether these were his or not, all those questions still standing. But the fact remains that Justice Yashwant Varma has become a very, very polarizing figure, with many calling this as an example for overall judicial reforms. Remember, a 3-member panel of senior judges have recommended the initiation of removal proceedings against Justice Yashwant Varma, sitting judge of the Allahabad High Court. Allahabad High Court, after he was transferred from the Delhi High Court to Allahabad as punishment. The whole process, in fact, was initiated by former CJI Sanjeev Khanna, who mandated this 3-member panel to look into these very serious allegations of these wads of burnt cash which was found in the outhouse of his official residence here in the national capital. Now, NDTV has accessed the Supreme Court panel probe report on Justice Yashwant Varma, which suggests there is enough proof to call for Justice Varma's removal. Let me very quickly, at this moment, just play out some highlights of this report for you. In fact, the probe committee report says that proof that cash was found in Justice Varma's residence. The probe committee report also, in fact, goes on to suggest that this house of Justice Varma, the outhouse, was accessed by cash was found in the storeroom of this residence. The committee, let's just play out the other one. Judge had active control of the storeroom, and the report also says that strong inferential evidence on cash removal as well against Justice Varma. Cash removed on early morning of March 15th after it was reported that fire has in fact taken place in that outhouse, which was part of Justice Varma's official residence. Let's play out, in fact, the letter that we have accessed. The entire 60-page report has been accessed by NDTV, and I'm reading the main excerpts from it. This committee holds the money/cash was found in the storeroom located within the premises of 30 Tughlaq Crescent, officially occupied by Justice Varma. The committee also, in one of the, in fact, point 72 of the 60-page report has said the access to the storeroom was with Justice Varma and his family members, well monitored, without any outsider access to it without permission. Because remember, this becomes an important point, because Justice Varma's defense was that it's an outhouse which was open by 3 sides. Anybody could have come to it. As I entered, I noted it has testimony of fire officials, police officials, and one of the testimonies says that as I entered, I noticed on the right-hand side and in the front there was large pile of cash of 500 rupee notes lying on the floor. I was shocked and surprised at such large amounts of cash strewn on the floor. I saw this for the first time in my life. This is one of the fire and the police person, those who had reached on the spot. In conclusion, in point 80 of the 60 page report, which was submitted on the 3rd of May 2025, the report says this committee is firmly of the view there is sufficient substance in the allegations raised by the Chief Justice of India, then Chief Justice Sanjeev Kumar, and the misconduct found proved is a serious enough to call for initiation of proceedings for the removal of Justice Yashwant Varma. Now remember, this also very importantly comes at a time when there are all expectations that in the monsoon session of the Parliament, impeachment proceedings against Justice Yashwant Varma can be brought in, where the government and the opposition more or less seem to be on the same page. Just a short while back, also on this very important matter, spoke to retired judge Mr. Deepak Gupta, and I wanted to in fact understand what the legal fraternity is thinking about this. He is a senior judge, retired judge, and Mr. Gupta, let me bring you in at this moment. Thank you so much, sir, for speaking to NDTV. As a senior judge, let me first understand from you, what is your reaction on the report of the panel, the committee which was in fact made by the former Chief Justice of India, Mr. Sanjeev Khanna, it very clearly says enough ground to suggest removal of Justice Varma. Your reaction, sir?
See, this report by the three-member committee set up by the Chief Justice of India, it's a fact-finding committee. It's not a final report, but it is quite damaging as far as Justice Yashwant Varma is concerned. Because the committee has gone into this question as to whether there was cash burnt in that room that night. And it has come to the conclusion, on the basis of the evidence which it has recorded, that there was a large amount of cash in 500 rupee denomination notes, which was in that room. And this has been vouched for by all the members of the fire department, as well as all the members of the police department. And videos were taken at that time. And in fact, if I have read the report correctly, I read it a bit quickly, but if I've read the report correctly, even now Justice Varma is not really saying that this is not his room. You know, initially the thing was this video may be of some other place. Now it is clear that the video is taken of that place. The location of the cell phones from which the videos have been taken, from the tower they have been linked. It has been linked. The videos have been sent to the Central Forensic Science Laboratory at Chandigarh, and they have also said these appear to be genuine. So that now the cash has been found. At this stage, I'll say the cash has been found from his residence. Further, the committee has also come to the conclusion that this was a room which was under lock and key. See, the first stand of Justice Varma was this was a room near the outhouses, and all and everybody had access to it. But now the committee finds that Justice Varma and his wife had the keys. Some trusted family, domestic help had access to it, but nobody else had access to it, because even the CRPF officers and the personal security officer of Mr. Justice Yashwant Varma have stated that this room was always locked, and we never used to, it was never unlocked by any one of us. I just want to add, another important factor is that Justice Varma has himself admitted that he used to store his liquor in a liquor cabinet in that stage. And that he had, now if you store your liquor in a room outside your house, you don't hand over the keys to all and sundry. You don't keep it open.
Justice Gupta, let me ask you this, and straightforward, in fact, coming to the question of the impeachment and so on and so forth. But before that, now with the fact-finding report which has come in, do you think that there should have been initiation of at least an FIR? Because a lot of people say that while there are two set of rules, of course, judges can't, FIR can't be registered against the judges at the drop of the hat, but the CJI had access to this report. Should an initiation at this moment of some sort of a registration of case should not have happened? Investigation beyond this fact-finding committee should not have happened?
See, there are two aspects of it. With hindsight, we can all say that, you see, that because the process of removal of a judge of the High Court is only impeachment and nothing else. There is a judgment of the Supreme Court earlier in a much earlier case, which says that just on a drop of a hat, you don't lodge a complaint against the sitting judge, and you have to take permission of the Chief Justice to lodge a complaint. At hindsight, I would say, yes, if I had been approached and I was the Chief Justice, I would have probably granted permission to, even if not lodge a FIR against Justice Varma, I would have advised the police to lodge an FIR with unnamed accused, that some cash, which obviously unaccounted for cash, has been found in a room, and therefore we don't know whose cash it is or who's going to be responsible for it. But the that would have, if an FIR had been lodged at that stage, then certain, shortcomings which are in this case would not have been there. Like a panchnama would have been there. The cash would have been taken into custody. But that is what, you see, there I don't, the problem is, from what I read in the report, all the senior officials were informed by the late night, same night. All the senior police officials, in fact, it appears that even the learned Home Minister was also informed somewhere, though the timing is not clear, was informed. But the Chief Justice of Delhi High Court was only informed next afternoon. Or I don't know what exactly, because there is now why was there a delay in informing the Chief Justice of India? This is something which will have to be gone into. But because if the Chief Justice had been, because by the time the Chief Justice of the Delhi High Court was informed, by that time the room had already been cleared off.
So can I ask you this then? On the basis of what this report suggests, are there enough grounds to initiate impeachment proceedings against Justice Yashwant Varma? Because already there are, murmurs that the government and the opposition could bring in an impeachment motion. Do you think that it's high time that that motion should be brought in the next session of the parliament?
In my view, more than sufficient material to impeach him. You see, if unaccounted cash, there is no doubt about it that, and one of the witnesses says that the notes were 1.5 feet deep. Now, if 500 rupee notes in a small room are 1.5 feet deep, it means it was crores and crores of rupees. Now, it will have to be, if it is found from a room in my house where I have the control, or I should have the control. If it's my house, I should have the control. Then I have to explain where the cash has come from, or that I have nothing to do with the cash. He will get a hearing in the impeachment proceedings, no doubt, because this is a fact-finding committee report only to decide whether he should be impeached or not. And I think there's a more than sufficient case, good enough sufficient case to made out for his impeachment.
In conclusion, Justice Gupta, let me ask you this. You've been a jurist for a very, very long time, a long career for you as well. Let me ask you this in two parts. Number one, how shocked were you when you heard that this amount of cash has been found in a sitting judge's residence? And number two, sir, what do you have to say about all those who have been saying that, it's time to relook in this protection, or at least the manner in which judges are protected? There needs to be a relook in this whole policy as far as corruption or charges against judges are concerned.
See, it's not only surprising, it's shocking. When you use the word judge, it only, I always say, when you say honest judge, you're using an oxymoron or a hyperbole. If you say judge, it's expected that he's honest. Why do you have to say that he's an honest judge or he's a dishonest? And a judge means he has to be honest. And to get so much cash out of a judge's house is unimaginable. I've also been a judge for 16, 17 years. We know, we become judges willingly. We know this is the salary we're going to get. We get a lot of good perks. But the salaries are not so much that you could have money being stashed in. There's not enough money in our PPF accounts, what to talk of being stashed in bags or cupboards or in storeroom. So let's leave that. That is an explanation left to come. Regarding this issue as to how these issues, I think that needs even I have not given so much thought to it, but I really feel that now maybe the time has come that when the Supreme Court or must relook the earlier judgment, and maybe, the Chief Justice will have to be more liberal in granting permission to the police to lodge an FIR. I still would be a bit chary about straight away permitting the police to lodge an FIR, because then judges could also be pressurized by the powers that be. But the Chief Justice Authority should, he should now, if this is going to happen, I hope this is the last case of the type that we have. But if this is going to happen, then, maybe we have to change our thinking. In what way? I've not really thought about it too much.